Warning! This video may contain images of graphic violence and disgusting brutality. Please govern yourself accordingly. Kids, leave the room. This is about some filthy, nasty, ugly, stupid death metal.
Listen to that new deprecatory EP?
Are you freaking kidding? That's just straight up filthy. Like, it's fucking disgusting. Like, positively putrid, straight seeping, primordial ooze. You know, Land Before Time? You know Land Before Time? Yeah, that scene where Petrie is in the tar pit? Yeah, that. Like, that shit's straight up, like, decomposed doo-doo. It's fucking stinky. It's stinky.
All right. Turn this up a bit. Been really feeling the Cleveland, Ohio scene lately. So yeah, I've been descending into a well of brutality, and I wanted to gather up a stack of just utter fucking relentless, sheer, barbaric death metal for you to check out. Hope you like some of this stuff. This is the band Decrepit with Acrimonium. Oh yeah. A lot of these are going to be some double dips you may be sort of familiar with in some of my videos over the last year or so, but you're just going to have to bear with me. I would be lying if I felt like I would do a good job of explaining all the nuances and the depths that these albums have to them. This is ugly, disgusting, filthy, simplistic death metal. And all I'm really doing here is comparing the slight nuances from one to another. Let's not act like this is high art by any means. However, this is some stuff that is gonna knock your little boners off, boys. So yeah, Decrepit fucking smokes. This album cover, oh buddy. This is one of those death metal bands that kind of started to get a little more black metal as they got further on. Look at that. Oh yeah. Okay. We don't have a lot of time. This is like a short album, kind of a long EP. Rules. Dismal Records put this out. You won't find a copy for under $20 or so. Most of the stuff in the stack is from the United States. We'll get into the European stuff toward the end. So, first off, as ham-fisted as most or any of this stuff is gonna get, we're talking about Splattered Cadaver with Merciless Butchery. This was released on United Guttural in 2001, if my memory serves me right. This is just blood-soaked, ignorant death metal. It's splattery, murderous, and just chunky, sludgy, and there just is no variation or diversity on it. It's fucking great. It feels so weird. It's almost like the more I tell you something is unenjoyable, the more I'm interested in hearing something like this. I don't know. I'm really into something. It's like, okay, I enjoy death metal for a lot of reasons lately, and a lot of that is the harshness and the heaviness and the darkness in a lot of it. But lately I've just been really craving more visceral, violent, just, I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I've never found myself gravitating towards a lot of this stuff. And a lot of this stuff is new discoveries to me that are like fulfilling this new kind of unfamiliar territory. So yeah, if you're feeling that way, there's a lot of like kind of trendy death metal, kind of knuckle dragging kind of shit going around. And a lot of that's kind of cool, but I feel like a lot of this stuff would appeal to a lot of those kind of people who are into that kind of thing right now. But I want to have this an offer, say like, this might be better than a lot of the stuff that's coming out these days. Also on United Guttural, and thanks to my homie Simon from Explosive Action for reminding me that I needed to pick up a copy of this. Here's where it's gonna get graphic, guys. I put this in a green jewel case just to kind of, I don't know, make it a little more icky. I bought this off of Amazon and it was beat to shit. This is Deaden with Hymns for the Sick. 98, if I'm not mistaken. These guys were from Chicago. And yeah, it's just bludgeoning, simplistic, brutal kind of stuff. Maybe not as, I don't know, it's really hard to pick like good words to tell you something that is worse or bad or like negative in a way. This is kind of a challenge for me as a professional music reviewer. But this shit fucking rips. Yeah, Deaden, Hymns for the Sick. They did another album after this. I've never heard it. The reason this in particular and a lot of this stuff is appealing to me right now, where in the past it hasn't, and where I think a lot of this movement in the genre kind of lost its steam, is it got really triggered and digital sounding and overproduced and just blown out, compressed all to hell, and it just sounds so inhuman. And I get, like, death metal is about escaping humanity, but I really appreciate a death metal band that just sounds like I went to a show and I'm enjoying kind of a more approachable sound in the studio. And Deaden definitely feels that way. Great guitar tone on that. This was kind of like what set this all off, and I talked about this when I got it in briefly, but Dehumanize Prophecies Foretold, I was bouncing off the fucking walls for 2 or 3 weeks while I was listening to this straight solid. This thing, I can't believe more people don't know about this. I mean, the album cover, like, I get it. Okay, this is not worth looking at under any circumstance whatsoever. I can't fucking fathom how anyone said, yep, put it on this, send it to press. Pathos Productions put this out in '98. You should still be able to pick up copies of a lot of this stuff for fairly cheap. This is New York. This is probably the New Yorkest stuff album in this whole pile. Definitely borrowing from Suffocation in a lot of ways, but like I said, their sound quality is a lot more approachable and human, and it just sounds like I'm in the same room as the band. But what I love about these guys, they are a little less showy, a little less flashy, no gimmicks whatsoever. It's just fucking pure, moshy, great fucking death metal. I really, really love it. It's kind of like drum porn to me, this album. The drummer has a really slick way of kind of adding little variations upon the riff as it gets repeated several times. And in a lot of cases, I think some people might be like, well, that sounds complicated or like too hard for me to process or just like overly technical. But it does it in a really palatable way that's just like, believe me, it's not that hard of a challenging kind of technicality to it. And I get like technicality can get kind of boring, and it's not over the top in any way like that. This is just solid fucking gold. Believe me, if you will. Dehumanize were from New York, and let's take it down to Massachusetts. So my buddy Wayne, who sang in Eternal Suffering, sent me a list of stuff along the lines of Dehumanized. I asked him because this used to be his scene and his bag all along. He's now in Conjuret. And so he sent me a pile of stuff, and I went through a lot of it, and maybe about 2 or 5 out of 30 or so really hit the mark, and I've got them here. But his band was no slouch whatsoever. This is the original release of Drowning in Tragedy. Probably can't get this for under like $100 for good reason. It's great. It's super heavy, moshy. No, I'm not a mosher. I go to a show and I pretty much just stand there just like, fuck yeah, this is great. Awesome. Yeah. Air guitar, a little bit of that. Not into moving around. I'm probably holding the beer, stand next to my buddies. Not into moshing whatsoever. But for some reason, the moshy parts in this stuff is really giving me what I want lately. It's violent. It's just, I don't know. But so, Drowning in Tragedy was reissued, remastered, re-everythinged on this. It's called Recollections of Tragedy and Misery by Pathos Productions, once again. I kind of like this remaster of it. You know, thankfully I have both versions of it. But this is one of the heaviest fucking things of this ilk that I've ever heard. Bar fucking none. The drummer just fucking snaps. By the way, the snare sound on most of these is choice, but the Dehumanized Prophecies Foretold, that snare sound is magnifique. Next, still in mass, this band is called Burial. And this right here is the pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
If you only listen to one album from this video, I want this to be it. Enlightened with Pain by Burial came out in 2000 on Lost Disciple Records, which is a label I ordinarily think of for like mediocre black metal, but I'm kind of starting to rethink that. This thing is so satisfyingly violent and heavy, unrelentingly pummeling. It is like I feel like I'm bordering on Chanel territory here, just wanting to tell you how fucking brutal it is. But I want to use words and thoughts and stay cool. This thing, I'm telling you, this thing is a fucking unappreciated masterpiece. The vocals are so fucking throaty and inhuman, but they have this way of sounding like they're just right there. And I'm just in utter awe of the fucking reality of this heavy fucking band, just obliterating everything in sight. Enlightened with Pain, man. Burial. Dude! Got a couple of vinyl later on, if that's what you need to get your rocks off. Next, we're going down to Kentucky. I believe Kentucky. Maybe Tennessee. I think Kentucky. Most of you guys should know Brodekin. But, as I said when I got this in, Methods of Execution and Human Torture or something like that, they're fucking great. I would love a remaster, remix, or something like that, where the guitars are brought up to the level that the drums are. I get that's like a war of mixing that no one can ever really win, but to me, I wanted a Brodekin album with those fucking pummeling, insanely fast, energetic drums, but I wanted to hear the riffs and the guitars and the nuances in the playing without having to sacrifice the guitars, you know? So that is where, thankfully, Methods of Execution came in for me. I believe this is their third and final. I think they're still active, but haven't put anything out for quite a while. Unmatched Brutality put this out. You can pick this up on their Bandcamp for like $9. Highly recommend it. If you might have had the same process. Whoa, Brodekin is brutal, but all I hear is drums and vocals. Methods of Execution has got what you want out of it. I don't know why this isn't more well respected as their other ones. It's just like, again, it's my preference. So as I was getting down into this wormhole of stuff, YouTube recommended me an album, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'll give it a spin. And it fucking ruled. It was Scythe. The band is called Scythe, and this album is called Undead Infantry. It originally came out in '98 on a small-known label. Probably never going to find a copy of it, but it was reissued this year by an Indonesian label called Carnivorous Records. There's a guy I bought this from. I wound up finding his email address. I'll put it right here. I think he wants like $14 plus shipping or something like that for this thing, and it fucking rules. These guys are from California. If you need some context, this drummer played on Deeds of Flesh's Inbreeding the Anthropophagi, which slays. And it's not too dissimilar from Deeds of Flesh in some ways, but like upon getting my copy of this, By the way, I don't think this is remastered or anything. There's no bonus anything. It's just a reissue. It does have different artwork on it. But this has a little bit more of some black metal kind of tendencies to it. There's some dark underlying harmonies that kind of creep in. And they're snuck in there in a really clever way that make it pretty fucking cool. I don't feel like I have ever heard anything quite like this. It's really, really interesting. And check this out. So this is something they've been doing in Russia. It's been a while since I got anything with this on it, but on the underside of the disc, there are letters, not for trendy ears. How fucking cool is that? This is the second time shooting this video, and the first time that went great. You could see all of it. I don't know what the fuck I did to change that, but Scythe, Undead Infantry, fucking smokes. I'm super glad I picked that up. It was like, okay, I found out that it came out back in '98 on some small label, and I was like, shit, I'll never find a copy of this. Oh, it got reissued this year. Perfect. Bio-labeled in Indonesia. Fuck. And I found a guy who had copies of it, and there you go. Awesome. Next, and no, Pessimist, Cult of the Initiated. This one came out in '97 on Lost Disciple Records. And I actually owned this copy, or this album, way back in the day, and I got rid of it. I don't know, it was just kind of lost on me, but revisiting this and having that kind of familiarity with it, I guess I've always kind of thought, you know, I wish I wouldn't have gotten rid of that. So I found a copy of this in a RR Records for about $5, and this thing fucking smokes. It's got some of that kind of sinister, occultish kind of black metal feel to it. Stylistically, mostly though, it's just pure, straight up American death metal. There's some kind of like morbid, angel-y kind of things going on. It's also sort of kind of New York-y in some ways. But these guys started out from Baltimore, and I believe Kel moved to California recently. He's still keeping the band going. Cult of the Initiated by Pessimist. So we're getting to the absolute depths of depravity here. This is a demo I think I saw somebody on Instagram listening to, and this cover just fucking, it made me pull out my wallet. I'm just a sucker for a fucking husk of a human being. Just a pile of human skin laying on some railroad tracks. I'll get out my wallet every day, buddy, when you give me something like this. This band is called Human Effluence, and this is their debut demo CDR from 2019. Just got this in today. Hand numbered to 111 copies. Copy number 34, so you should be able to still pick up copies of this for cheap. This is just utterly fucking pummeling grindcore, gore grind. It's just fucking nasty slide riffs over and over, gravity blasts up and down the fucking place. It is just a fucking murder fest all the time. This thing is 6 songs in 4 minutes. And honestly, were it any longer, again, it's a demo, keep that in mind. Were this any longer, they might kind of overstay their welcome. I appreciate the length of this thing. And the last song on it is the Last Days of Humanity cover. How can you go wrong with that? They also just put out a split LP with, no, I'm unfamiliar with this band, Sulfuric Cautery. Gore coming up, gore warning. Human Effluence, Sulfuric Cautery. This thing fucking absolutely rages. What a fun release. It looks like it was co-released by 9 different labels. I bought this straight from Human Effluence. This is super fun. 10 tracks, 7 tracks. Sound pretty fucking similar if I'm being honest. I would say Sulfuric Cautery have maybe a little bit more diversity in songwriting going on. There are some riffs here and there, but like Human Effluence is again just absolute fucking blurry to the nines, 1 million BPM. It's super satisfying, super good. I can't wait to fucking blast this fucking thing in the car. I don't know if they have this up on their Bandcamp. The thing is, that cover for the demo got them banned from Bandcamp. At least, like, their tracks were just completely removed. So I don't know if that's something you're going to be able to buy digitally or what's going on, but this just came out like last week, and yeah, this thing fucking smokes. I'm going to be playing this quite a bit. Next, a couple more. Oh, did I forget? No. Okay. Over to Europe for a couple classics from yesteryear. Eucipian. I've talked about this a couple of times on the channel, but I cannot recommend this fucking thing enough. Let me get out the LP. Damn. So this came out in 2004, where during a time where I think everybody was like pretty much over death metal. These guys are from Denmark. This is just unrelenting brutality. It's not over the top by any means. It's just perfectly, succinctly written, performed, and recorded, honestly. I was obsessed with this recording. The drums sound amazing. The vocals sound fucking godly. Everything about this thing is just perfect. So I went ahead on Metal Archives. Thank you, Metal Archives, for just making me pull up my wallet so many times. I downloaded a ton of albums that were recorded in this studio just to kind of hear if there was anything else that satisfied me with like the drum porn sound that this album has on it. Just black wax, although there is a yellow LP version of this. It's hard to find copies of this LP in the States for some reason. Like, nobody knows about this thing, and once you hear it, I swear you'll just be like, why the fuck isn't everybody losing their shit about this? I mean, it is 16 years old. God, that feels so fucking weird. But it's just so fucking perfect sounding. Brutal, heavy, kind of dissonant. It's not all that unique. It's just like, it's one of those things that kind of pulls in great elements of tons of different death metal and just kind of puts them all together for you in like a kind of like a greatest hits kind of way. Just lots of different death metal influences. It definitely sounds pretty European. They're slightly kind of dissonant, but not in a way that would lose you in any way. Not fucking gore guts or anything. It's certainly not like over the top technical like gore guts or really anything of that ilk. It's super palatable, just easy to dive right into. So satisfying, and God, the drums. The drummer is just an absolute fucking masterpiece. Dude is just in the pocket, not doing anything showy or fancy, but never letting you get bored with anything going on. It's so fucking good. And to top it all off, like, it starts off good, but as the album goes further and further and further along, it gets better and better and better. Each fucking track, better than the last. I swear. So fucking good. There's like an interlude track. I'm gonna guess it's probably the first track on side B. And it's like this kind of breathing moment. It's this breather that lets you just kind of chill. And then it fucking, it just gets so much heavier towards the end of it. This, okay, like I've been feeling the really knuckle dragging kind of stuff as all this kind of stuff is, but this is something I am going to keep in rotation again and again and again over the years. I shit you not. I fucking love Dead Corner of the Eye by Eucipian. I have it on CD and LP. Honestly, most of the LPs that I have on CD also. I don't know what it is. It's just who I am. And lastly, this is a band I feel like a lot of people are familiar with and know about, but maybe look over or gloss over that there's one album in their discography that just absolutely shreds and slays. Now, Rotten Sound's Murder Works. Oh my god, it's crunchy, HM2-ish kind of tone to the guitars. The production on this thing is just absolutely godly. Mieszko from Nazem recorded, mixed, and mastered this whole thing in 2004 before he passed away. The sound quality on this thing is just utterly bar none. I've never heard anything like it. I want to say I've checked out a couple other Rotten Sound albums and didn't quite really do it for me as much as this one was. This is one of those albums that's so fucking good that I can't bear to abandon it and look around in the discography of this band any further. I don't need anything more than Murderworks. I'm just simply not comfortable straying away from this fucking thing. This has been one of my go-tos for this kind of thing ever since it came out. I absolutely fucking adore this record. Black vinyl. Autopsy Kitchen put this out back when it came out, under license from Necropolis. So kind of a weird mishmash of labels putting this out. It may have been reissued on CD and or LP since then, because it's been quite a while since it came out, but oh my fucking god, this rules. Dude from Winter Sun plays drums on this, and like, I don't give a fuck about Winter Sun or whatever, but he is a pretty interesting drummer. I believe he also played in Enochian Crescent and Black Dawn. Black Dawn is kind of like the black metal counterpart to this album. Oh man, this is such a fucking banger. Murderworks, check it out. There you go, a shit ton of bangers for free. I hope you like something in this pile. Go ahead and check out any one of these albums and let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Do it! Just fucking get on it and listen to some of this stuff. The pick of the week again, Burial. Enlightened with Pain. You won't regret turning this fucking thing up as far as you can in your car. Kind of hard to find copies of it, but you can figure it out. You're a grown-ass person. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.